Coming to you live from the Show Me State, the birthplace of James Mercer Langston Hughes. It's the Colbert Connection. Your hosts, Melody and Danica, are connecting you to the world through Facebook Live with today's hot topics and creative conversations. I'm your announcer, Dr. Colbert, working hard for a free meal and a bottle of crushed grapes. And now, here's your host of the Colbert Connection, Melody Colbert King and Danica Colbert.
Good evening. It's Tuesday. Welcome to the Colbert Connection. I'm Melody Colbert King.
And I'm Danica Colbert. And here we go again.
Man, we got stuff for y'all today. We're not even giving you any preamble. We're just getting right into it because we had a lot going on the week before and this week.
I mean, starting with Tuesday, we couldn't even get out of here fast enough.
Man, the debate.
Man.
Help me understand the debate.
It was hot, wasn't it? Was it hot?
The debate or the debacle?
Well, you know, I thought it was definitely entertaining, shall we? Entertaining.
It was entertaining, embarrassing, and everything else.
Man.
I don't even know. This is America.
You know, I asked my brother, did you let my older nephew, did you let him watch that? And he was like, no. And I was like, but they should. Kids should be able to watch that.
Absolutely, because it's like, this is your leadership. This is the leadership and potential leadership of America, the free land of the free, home of the brave, and this is how we act.
What were your takeaways?
Bully. Straight
yes,
bully.
I agree.
Straight bully. Straight bully. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say. And I don't really care who don't agree with it. It was straight bully.
I just want to know. And if you are a Trump supporter, that's great.
Nope.
I just need to know how you watch that and don't walk away and think, man, he did kind of bully. He did maybe not put forth the best look for the whole party. Like, did you not have a moment where you were like, oh, man? Because I would have had that moment if it were the other way around.
I mean, yeah. Sometimes you can't, there's just not a lot to say.
I mean, there's a lot to say. There's definitely a lot to say.
There is a lot to say, but my goodness, that was different. I hope to never see something like that again. That's the best I can say.
You know, I agree. I also hope to never see anything like that again. But however, I think we've got another one. You know, this one that's coming up this week, I feel will be more informative for the people.
True.
It is going to probably have a lot more information in it for us. The stuff that we were hoping to get the first round.
True.
I don't feel like let me rewind. I don't feel like I walked away with a better understanding of anything from that debate.
I mean, and when one was trying to put forth some plans and say what the plan was, it got talked over, talked under, talked around, wow, wasn't no plans coming out. I'm just saying, it's just rude. That's all I'm saying.
So if you could pick the next mediator,
Man.
who would you pick?
Yeah.
For those two, not for this week's, but for those two, who would you pick?
Oh, man.
What about y'all? Y'all can answer too.
Yeah, who would y'all pick to mediate?
Be the perfect mediator for this? Because it's going to take a strong person. And
I'm excited.
I mean, I might be excited depending on who the mediator is. You got to be able to control that room of like 5 people that are in it.
Do you think Kamala is going to let old dude overtalk her?
No. I don't feel tomorrow. I don't think it's tomorrow, right? I don't think we're going to have any problems tomorrow. Yeah. I feel the next presidential debate
ain't going to be one.
We ain't gonna have time?
Nope, they ain't gonna do it.
They ain't gonna do it?
Nope.
But if they did,
I
saw lots of
posts. Yes.
Just about Samuel L. Jackson. I think that would be pretty cool. I'm just saying.
I said your time is up.
You can't. I mean, if we're just going for entertainment at this point,
I mean that's what it's being. Hey, you have a TV star, so what do you get? This is what you get. You get a TV show.
Hey, Doral says he picks you.
I can do it, David. I can do it, and I would be happy to. I keep telling them to tune in to the Colbert Connection so you can see what we're doing here, and y'all either come on the show or we come to y'all. Absolutely. At a distance. Because,
you know, socially distant.
Because
with our masks on.
Because COVID.
It's a real thing.
And the president.
All of them got it. No, I'm just
supposedly
kidding.
has it.
Wow.
But yes, and he's out parading, and I'm at a loss of words. Y'all help me today.
You see,
help
we both
me.
were at a loss of words. Like
Help
somebody
me.
help us understand.
And then
the timing
of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Of everything.
Very interesting. But we're good now.
And what kind of affront and a slap in the face to the people who have lost people from COVID, who can't afford health care, and who can't be there with their loved ones, or be driven around the block 2 or 3 times, a COVID drive-by.
While he was in the hospital? Stop it. Y'all, I can't today.
Help me. Help all this make sense to me, because it's not. It's just not.
So did he have his mask on during the drive?
Oh, he had it on.
And the driver and everybody?
Y'all.
Oh, Lord.
Because I got to ride in the Beast when President Obama was here.
Yes.
And the highlight, that is just up here in my life. And yeah. But those things, and I've seen somebody say that also, but they are sealed. Can't nothing get in and nothing get out.
Except COVID. I'm sorry.
So I'm saying, if you got your mask on, whatever, and you get COVID, and you got your secret service, and we just festering in the COVID air. I just can't. I don't understand. I don't understand that behavior. Please comment. Help me understand it, because there could be something I'm missing. I am very open to ideas and opinions, and if there's something I'm missing, please fill me in.
So we're gonna rewind just a little bit. We got a comment.
Okay.
Chiquita. Every time I say it, I think I get it wrong. But okay,
Chiquita.
thank you. She says they need someone to teach Biden how to debate. Please.
Biden needs some help.
You know what? We're fair over here, y'all. So
Absolutely.
Here's the deal. I felt bad because I felt like he couldn't get his thoughts straight because he was too busy trying to remember the path he was on before he was interrupted.
True that.
However, I agree. The debate skills probably weren't the best.
It was a debacle.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was just a debacle. On both sides, it was a debacle.
Yeah.
We have rude and bullying on one side, and then you had, I'm trying to keep track of what I'm trying to say on another side. So my whole thing, even over the whole thing, is out of that whole slew of candidates we had, and I know I'm going way back again, but the whole slew
This is where we ended
of nice diversity and various everybody and a little touch of everything, we are down to 2 old white men again. And I don't mean that in any I'm just saying that is what we are back at.
Just stating the obvious.
It is. And they both were, yeah. If I had to pick a winner, I mean, I would. I don't know if I could.
There was no winner.
Yeah.
America lost.
This is
what
lost.
happened.
That
it just
what
made
happened.
it so evident that we don't have a great option. And that's the stinky part. Like, we've got options. We've got options. But we just don't have a great option.
True.
Like, I wish we had a great option like we had President Obama. It was like, that's a great option. I can get behind this.
Well, even
but
the
not
candidates that were all up,
yes.
that were started it off.
Yes.
On the Democrat and the Republican
Who ran
side.
against him anyway? I don't remember the first time. Who was
Against
that?
who?
President Obama.
Doesn't matter.
Anybody. Throw that out there if you remember.
I forgot.
But it was 2 good options. Like,
Romney.
Romney? I don't know.
Yes.
Whoever it was, we don't remember.
Whoever it was, they didn't win. So
yes,
that's the.
Yeah.
It was wrong.
But it was 2 good options. Whatever.
Well, anyway.
But anywho, so tomorrow night, I hope they show us something.
Well, I'm excited because that's the first time a black female is going to be debating, just debating, period, for a presidential, vice president anyway, but for a presidential seat.
Yeah.
I am over the moon. I think that is excellent.
I think it's cool.
It's going to be a good one.
It's progress.
We're going to tune in for that one.
Yes, in the times that we're in right now, in the climate, that is progress. And I think we can all admit, no matter which side you're sitting on,
yes,
this is progress.
Yes.
You don't have to like it.
Absolutely.
You don't have to like her. But I'm just saying, here we sit.
You have your opinions, we have our opinions.
That's
Everybody
right.
has an opinion,
Absolutely.
and we respect everybody's opinion.
Absolutely.
We respect it, but you need to respect ours too. So, and
Yes.
if not, that's all good too.
Because you
We're
can
big
just
girls.
turn your live off.
We are big girls now. We are big girls. But so,
Yeah.
why are we using the election, COVID, and all that to hold the stimulus hostage now?
Oh, girl. I saw that. That's hot off the press.
Hot off the press.
So here's what will happen, in case you have not seen it yet.
Don't expect a stimulus anytime soon.
Until he is reelected.
That's what he said. Until I am reelected, till the election is over, and then I can approve something. That's saying I'm going to be there after the election. I mean, you got to give it to him for his confidence.
I feel bullied. What I feel is, again, like you were talking about the people that don't have insurance, the people that
Healthcare, yeah,
people without jobs, the people that are just hurting.
Yes.
What are we supposed to do?
You wait until the election. After the election,
You got 27 days.
because he
So
said
just hold. But that doesn't mean that's going to be the first thing on the agenda. But so the question is, are we going to get that seat filled before the 27 days are up, or is that waiting until after the election as well?
the Supreme Court.
Yes,
seat?
ma'am.
Oh no, they moving forward with that.
I
They're
just
moving
wondered.
forward with that, and that's
So
yeah.
that's more important than the people of the United States that are struggling during this pandemic season that we're in.
I can't get an understanding. There is no understanding. So yes, we're going to move on because.
Oh, you just cut me off and moved on.
I mean, I'm gonna let you feel. Go ahead with your look. Go with your final thought.
No, I'm good.
I'm gonna be quiet.
No, we can move on. It's all right.
So we got our own little drama right here in Joplin.
Man, look.
We got our own debates going on
I
here.
just couldn't get there. Mel was like, "Where you at?" I was watching though.
I was
I
there.
was definitely watching.
This former council person was there.
Look, y'all.
Sitting for those 4 hours.
I couldn't do
Gosh, on that side of the dais.
it. In the time you were sitting there, and I saw you. I could see you in the background.
I didn't
You
know
look
that
cute.
until I
You look
seen
cute.
that.
Yeah,
that's it.
I saw you. But in that time, I had dinner. I had ordered dinner. I had received it by
Man.
DoorDash. I had watched the Chiefs game. I had done a lot of things in the 4 hours that you were sitting there,
Yes.
and I was paying attention to y'all talking in the background.
And I was listening and
Oh, my
sitting
goodness.
and listening and sitting
Look.
and listening and sitting. So we had the council versus the chamber.
Pretty much 2 big Joplin forums. Okay.
And yeah, and I'm just going to say that it really shouldn't even have been, because that whole meeting shouldn't even had to have been. You tabled it for no reason, really.
Yeah, it was unanimous.
And yeah,
So-
just politics.
But here's the thing, Toby was on one of our early shows,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked a little bit about the
Yes.
statement that he made.
Yes.
And I kept hearing, as I was watching last night, people saying, but he hasn't even backtracked. He hasn't even apologized. But for what? Here's my problem. We don't like the truth.
Man, it's uncomfortable.
Here's the thing. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's change, which is always uncomfortable, and it's the truth, which some are going to like and some aren't. You don't have to like it all. We don't all agree with everything President Trump does every day. Of course, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But why are we holding up the chamber's contract money?
Yeah.
Because we disagreed that he pointed out some things that we didn't necessarily like.
Yeah. Not necessarily that they weren't true. Just
And
didn't
that's
like,
the thing.
Didn't like the wording of it.
But
No one wants to be called a name, and no one wants to be. I would hope no one wants to be called a racist. But the meaning of it was these things have been going on, and they have been. It's not like it's untrue.
But nobody said anything. No one in a position that mattered, that was an ally to people of color,
Said a word.
said anything.
Not a word.
But when he said something, we had a lot of words to
Yeah, we
say,
had a
but
lot of
nothing was
words.
pretty much in support of, except for
Yeah.
very few people. And that's the sad part. Like, as you listen to the people, some of them
Yes.
that got up in opposition to his words, I was just like, these people really are boldly standing up here saying what they're saying, and they're standing on it, they believe
Yes.
it. But they don't realize that what they're saying means they don't want progress.
Nope.
They don't want movement for people of color. They could care less.
Could care less. That's the underlying meaning is that it's not happening to us, so it's not happening.
It's not happening. Okay, so
So
look.
you just disqualified everybody's statements.
What had happened was last night, as I was watching, comments were going, and I just sat and watched for it because I said I was multitasking. But then there was a comment that was made on the strand about, this doesn't even exist in Joplin, and why are they talking about things from the past? And so I had I had started typing. You get in you're doing the hard typing, and then you're like, no, delete, and you're like, how do you put it so that it's received, right? Because I want it to be received. And I was like, because the comment was about affirmative action. They have affirmative action. They have their own colleges, and why is that okay? And I was like, but why do we have those things? We have those things because we were not allowed into the public schools once upon a time.
Legally.
Yes. We're
like
allowed.
A law.
Yes.
That was a law. Not somebody's opinion. That was a law.
We got leftover books that, y'all used 10 years back. We got leftover everything.
Yeah. It was...
But for that comment to be made for someone that seemed to be young on the post strand, I was like, look, I had to make a comment. And the strand, kept going. And I was very nice about everything that I said. But I was like, hey, she was like, but affirmative action, why should we give you all positions? Yeah. And we have to check you always have that box you have to check. And I go, you check the box, see what it does for you.
Yes.
Because I guarantee you a lot of us don't check a box
Pretty
for
much.
that reason.
Pretty much.
It's just, like I say, the longer I sat there and I started reading, that's when I had to turn the game off and stuff and pay more attention because it just started getting under your skin.
And that's the thing. It's like, why can't we just be American also?
That's it.
Why does any other group have to be American? Why can't we just be American?
That's a great question. Because
African
American. We have
Asian
not been
American,
to Africa.
African American,
Never been.
Never.
I'm just American.
I'll
be a Joplin American.
But these are the parts of systemic. This is the stuff that people don't understand, that we try to educate on and put that knowledge out there, because those are the things that are put in place to degrade and to marginalize a sector of people. And it's been that way, And if you think about it, everything that has to do with black magic, a black cat, black, just if it's black, it's bad. It's equated to bad.
Explain it.
I mean,
what do you?
But if it's white,
it's right.
It's right, and it's pure, and it's I'm just these are the things we're talking about when we say the differences that you don't see. We live them, so we see them and we know them. But just listen to what we're saying. We're not just talking off the side of our neck, off the top of our head. These are our experiences.
Yeah, you know what? You already know. Look. And Miss Nanda, who was on last week.
Yes.
She had 7 minutes last night. I was just so tickled with her. She's like, I'm going to need 7 minutes, y'all.
She said, I'm going to need my
And she knew it was going to be, she had
there.
practiced, and I loved it. But she was giving them experiences that she has had, her family has had.
And they were discounted.
And they did every one of them.
Yeah.
Because as you're reading the comments, people are like, why is she talking about the past? Yeah, but some of the stuff she's saying was this week. I understand it was a week ago, but this stuff is real. Even the fact to say that 10 years ago, that's 10 years. That's 10 years. We have made zero progress.
That's recent.
Yeah, we've made zero progress. So that's the whole problem, is that we have these, with me, we have these council meetings where people can come and, state their positions. But what the heck did we do with anything that they said at this meeting? Did y'all go back and have a meeting after the meeting? Because from what y'all were looking from the video, look, I'm going to say it, Mel, you don't have to. Nope. From the way y'all were looking, y'all didn't care. The one lady asked a question and they just let her sit on down and didn't even answer the question. So did why waste anyone's time?
Yep, pretty much. And we're not going to waste more of your time on that one. We're going to
move
on to LeBron James.
Keep going.
Have a whole show about it.
Yeah. Anywho.
LeBron James.
You know what? Oh, LeBron. He's always doing positive things. I like him. I didn't care for him as a player. But I didn't. It's true.
King James hater.
Yeah, no. I didn't really care for a Kobe fan either. I liked, some other players. But anywho, he does great things. He does great things behind the scenes.
Yes, he's using his platform as he should, and anybody else who has platforms
use it to
address injustices or wrongs or things that you can help out with.
Absolutely.
And he's doing that by signing up all these people to work the polls.
I love it.
I think it's 10,000 of them. I think it's 10,000 people to work the polls.
Look,
I love it.
I wish we could make something like that happen around here. I know it was announced at my church service that if you needed a ride, that
Yes.
you were to get in touch with Lisa Colbert. So if you don't know her, we'll leave her information in this box. I don't care how you're voting, just get there and do your thing.
Vote.
Yeah.
Vote.
Do
And
your
you
thing.
have until... Is today the 7th?
I don't know, but I voted today, y'all. Did my civic
Tomorrow.
duties.
You have until tomorrow to get registered to vote.
Oh.
And you might come into a glitch.
Let's talk about that.
Yes, there's
Because
a glitch.
That's the whole reason why I ended up going in today, was because I checked my information just to make sure I was good to
On
go.
the government site.
And it said, sorry, you are not registered to vote. I sent it to mail. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Just voted.
Yeah,
Just
I was like,
voted.
I did it in the local. Why?
Yeah.
So don't be intimidated by that if you get that.
Yes.
But don't hesitate. Don't waste any time. Go on up there and make sure you're good.
And you can register
Absentee.
online too, but you need, if it pops up, you need to go down to the courthouse and get registered.
Please
and,
do.
And vote absentee early if you can. If you're not going to be here for election day, and that's open, that's going on right now. I plan on going tomorrow because I will not be available to vote on the election day. So, getting my civic duty done.
Get it done.
Okay.
Woo!
I know, that's a lot. But before we get ready to start talking about our guest and get our guest on here, because we want to have plenty of time for him, the California, they have a proposal in works for slavery reparations.
Now look.
Go on, give us some feedback.
I can
We
see
ready?
this just from the comments yesterday. I can see this going all sorts of
Oh,
wrong.
you already know. I mean, it's in the proposal stage, and it's in, talks and stuff, but yeah.
So what might these reparations entail?
Well, it's probably some monetary something. I mean, what group has not received?
Well,
We have the Native American, there we go again, Native American, the natives, because they were here. They got the.
but I don't think our fellow less pigmented friends are going to be excited about any reparations going to people of color or of lesser, what's the word I'm looking for? Male. Any of the protected classes. How's that? Think about
I'm
this
trying
now.
to see how we protected. That's all. I'm waiting. I'm listening. I'm letting you feed
I'm
into my
trying to
ear.
be politically correct.
Don't do it. There's no such thing.
Think about that though. How, if affirmative action was supposed to be a positive thing, and I mean it had its benefits.
It was there because it had to be there. Yes.
Now we're going to do reparations.
Mm-hmm.
For those of us that probably weren't hindered at that time, maybe parents, parents, or whatever. So I could see this being a problem. I'm just saying.
I don't see it being a problem. Your Holocaust survivors have something. Everybody's got something, but black people for slavery. I mean, it'll be interesting to follow and to see what happens. I'm going to be following that closely to see. But that assemblywoman out of California, Shirley Weber, she's the one who introduced it and got it into the proposal stage. So I'm excited to see where it's going to go. But anyway, we have a guest today, guys and girls and ladies and gentlemen and kids and everybody. Don't want to leave anybody out. We have a guest today, Mr. Aaron Garcia. We are excited to have him. He's going to be sharing. Y'all, we got an author, for real, a best-selling author. I mean, on the Colbert Connection show, you never know who you're going to have here. And we are excited to have him. But his book, which I had written down here, Burn Notice. That's the one that's coming up. But you know what? Everybody who says they're going to go, I can't wait for it to come out. Don't wait. You can go now and pre-order it. You can pre-order it.
Or the ebook.
It's
an option.
But because you always get a lot of time people say,
just do it. Support local.
Support
Support his vision.
Because when this man blows up for real and just y'all gonna be like, oh, Aaron, my friend, you remember me? He gonna be like, moving on.
I don't see him doing that, however.
So when we return, we're going to have Aaron Garcia, who is an author, an evangelist, and an international speaker, is going to be joining us.
But before he comes, we are going to have a couple little commercials. And so,
yes,
for those of you interested in putting your piece right here before our speaker, our guest,
yes,
send us a message.
Send us a message, and we'll let you know how you can get hooked up and be displayed and advertised and marketed and all that good stuff.
We'll be right back with Aaron.
What am I going to do with all this stuff? I need to make some more room.
Restore it.
Restore? What's that?
Restore, totally different. The Restore accepts donations and sells them to the public at discounted prices. Restore!
Restore.
Thank you. Did you want some help loading that?
That would be great.
Stop by Me's Place Soul Food Kitchen for some tasty fried catfish and slamming fried chicken. Collard greens, mac and cheese, and homemade cornbread. We even have your favorite Kool-Aid. You know, red. Delicious home cooking is what we do, serving love on a plate just for you.
Hey, we're back. Thank you for sticking with us. And like I said, we have Mr. Aaron Garcia.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey guys.
We're so excited to have you.
Yes, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Look, I know you're an author, and that's the big thing, but I want to hear about your story, because I hear there's a little more to what makes these books.
Yeah, sure. First off, thank you guys for having me on this show. I hope I have as much information as you guys do. I was trying to keep up because I don't keep up with the news all the time.
Smart man.
You guys have kept me up to date, so thank you for
That's
that.
all you need to know.
Yeah, so when people look at me, it's pretty cool and amazing when people go, oh, Aaron, he's got it all together. He's successful. He's a nurse practitioner and all these different things. But the truth of the matter is that when I was 16 years of age, I fell into the wrong crowd and I started using drugs at a very young age. My parents had purchased my first vehicle for me, so I was like this independent guy that was out there with freedom and all these things. But for kids, and this is for teenagers or parents of teenagers listening, what happens is things like worldly things you want to become popular and accepted and all those different things. And so what happened is that bad people started to attach themselves to me. Started using marijuana. Okay, at age 16, went from marijuana to methamphetamines. I was using methamphetamines to LSD and cocaine and all these crazy, crazy things that, and you gotta understand, I came from a good home. I grew up in a good home, a good Christian home. I made A's and B's. I was involved in sports and all those things. So, but what happened is again, bad company corrupted my behavior. And so here I was using drugs. Experimentally, kind of using on the weekends, kind of having fun, partying, doing the thing to do. And, that went from experimenting to using almost every day.
Oh, wow.
So, and I was 16 years of age. I started becoming defiant towards my parents. I ran away from home at age 17, was put in juvenile detention here in Joplin, Missouri. I'll never forget, it was a very scary moment for me. I remember I was walking down the corridors of this hallway and all the lights were shut out, and there was like men banging on the doors behind their cell blocks, and then I just went to lay down and I had tears in my eyes, wondering how I even got into this situation, and they just were taunting me in there. And the next day my parents, they came in and picked me back up, but our relationship really started to divide at that point in time. Because I thought I had it all together. I thought I knew what life was about.
Because you were a teen, yes.
I was a teen,
Our
right?
teenagers know.
Teens got it together.
They know it
all. They know everything,
yes.
right? So that was me. And anyways, so time went on and still using, didn't change my behaviors. Well, what happened was there was a rumor going around the school that someone was going to blow the school up on May 5th. So there was a bomb threat, and this is right after the Columbine shooting, mind you. So this is a long time ago. So, but it was very fresh on the people's eyes and ears and things like that. So I thought in my drug-induced mind in 6th hour that I was going to write a message that said I was going to blow the school up on May 5th.
Oh my Lord!
I didn't call it in. I didn't do any of those things. I thought it'd be funny, so in pencil I wrote it on the desk, right? Well, I was so gone mentally that I forgot to erase it. So the next day I skipped 1st hour and I went back to 2nd hour, and it was study hall, and so I just slept. That's what I did. I would use drugs and I would sleep whenever I could. I never studied or anything like that. Well, I got a thing from the principal to come down to his office, and so I thought, or referral, right? So I'm thinking, I skipped class. He's gonna, probably give me suspension or something like that. Well, I was walking down the doors and I turned the corner and there were like the entire Joplin Police Department was in this in the police or in the principal's office. And I'm going, man, someone's in a lot of trouble. That's what I'm thinking.
And I get to see.
Yeah. I'm like, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
What's going on? Well, I come in the door, and there's windows, so it's really, really open. You can see in there. And, they surrounded me. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I look in the corner, my mom's in a chair. And her, arms are crossed, and she's just got that mom look, And I'm like, oh, boy, I'm in trouble. So I had no clue why I was in trouble, but I knew I was in trouble. So I sat down, and I'll never forget these words. The principal asked me, or he said to me, he says, Aaron, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. And I'm like, he's like, do you know what you did yesterday during the 6th hour? And I'm like, processing.
Can't remember 2 days,
I
half an hour.
I couldn't remember half an hour ago, And then it hit me. And I was like, oh my gosh. He goes, yeah, and the Joplin police, the prosecuting attorney wants to make a, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Example.
An example of you, and they want to put you away for an entire year. And I don't have any record. I've never been in trouble. I ran away, but I never got in trouble for anything beyond that.
And
so
this is at 17.
17 years old.
Okay.
So I got into the vehicle, and so I come out of the police department, or not, the principal's office, and they handcuffed me. The bell to the next hour rang the moment I came out into the hallway.
How did you feel?
Everybody. That shame that people have when they put their head down?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I had.
Wow.
And so they're, my friends, Aaron, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
What that, And I just heard whispers and shouts and stuff like that. And I got into the police vehicle. And I remember looking at the door handle as I'm going down the street at the speed limit 40 miles an hour or whatever. And I looked at that door, and everything inside me wanted to open that door.
No, it don't open, Aaron.
I'm thinking, if I could just open that door, this would all go away. And not like hurt myself, but I could maybe escape.
Out, right?
I could maybe escape.
Wow.
Yeah. So by the grace of God, I spent 2 weeks in the actually city Joplin jail. I had to make multiple statements. I had to pay $10,000 in lawyer fees. I was suspended from school for 3 months. I still got to do my schoolwork, though. They allowed me to do my schoolwork.
Of course.
Yeah, because my parents were like,
behind.
you're doing schoolwork no matter what. And I had to do 200 hours of community service. And I don't know if anyone's ever done community service before. It's a lot. 200 hours is, if you did 40 hours a week, that's 5 weeks. It's a long time. Anyways, so behavior kind of was like, all right, maybe I should put this drugs on the back burner. And I did. I barely graduated high school at Joplin High School in 2000. We were talking about her. I graduated as a Y2K. And so after high school, I didn't want to go to college. My parents wanted me to go to college. They encouraged it. They never pressured me, but they encouraged me to go to college because they had money saved up for me. I said, college isn't for me. So I started working some dead-end jobs. Well, I met this guy, and he said, Aaron, you should come over to my house sometime and hang out. And I'm like, yeah, sure. No harm, no foul. We got along great. We were essentially just chemistry was really good. And so one of these evenings I decided to go to his house, and it was a duplex. And I had no bad intentions, nothing like that. I didn't think there was anything wrong going on. But I opened the door, and it was a duplex, and his mom and sister lived upstairs, and he lived downstairs. Well, he opened the door to the downstairs, and I'll never forget, the carpet was red as I'm walking down these, right? I don't think anyone's ever seen red carpet before, but this carpet was red. And then I turned the corner, and the furniture was black, like leather black. And I called it the Devil's Den.
That's what it's like.
I literally did.
Sounds like the Red Line.
And I turned the Red Line.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
That's old school right there. And so I turned the corner, and I had no clue, but the place was a drug house, and there was all kinds of people down there using methamphetamines. And he invited me over to the bar. There was a bathroom, a bar, a living room, and a bedroom where no one slept at. No one slept.
Yeah.
So he walked me over there, and he had all these drugs laid on a mirror, and I fell right back into my ways. Had flights of ideas again, thinking this was the coolest experience of my life. He asked me to move in, and I moved in. Well, little did I know that he was dealing with some high-end manufacturers and drug dealers and people, I don't know if maybe the cartel was involved, but these people were moving large amounts of weight. Well, they liked me, so they accepted me, and they brought me along with them, and I became one of the largest drug dealers 20 years ago here in Joplin, Missouri. We had some of the best stuff that everyone wanted, and so we were climbing the ladder. So we had a lot of power. We could manipulate people. We were prideful. We were all these things that Aaron was never meant to be. I fell into it. And, addiction, it's not like people wake up one day and go, man, I can't wait to be an addict one day. It's little bits of things that happen over time that grow into this big problem. So using drugs, I was manipulative, I was prideful, women wanted to be with me, men wanted to be me, and I just, I thought that this was the life I wanted to live.
Nino Brand.
Yeah, this is it, man. I found it. I found the gold mine here, right? Yeah. Well, time went on, months went on, and my mind started changing. And I freaked out one night in the middle of this house that we were cooking drugs and stuff like that. And I started having paranoia, and this came out of nowhere, right? So I had paranoia. I thought everyone was against me. I thought the police were after me. And that's when everything started to change, where drugs were no longer fun. They became fear. And so I was fearful every day, paranoid, and all people would do is put more drugs in my face. I wanted to admit myself into a psych institute. I wanted to get away. I lost connection with my parents. I lost connection with reality.
Yeah.
So what happened is one night, the devil's den. The place was always full of people, remember. But one night, the place was completely empty. Someone had borrowed my car. Someone and everybody else was out using drugs and finding different places to go to. So the place was empty. And I'll never forget, I can already feel the change right now, but I was in the middle of this drug house, and I knew my life was at rock bottom. I knew that I was either going to die in this place or I was going to end up in prison for a very long time. I knew those two things. So this weight comes over me in the middle of this drug house, and man, I just collapsed to my knees. And I said, you gotta understand, I didn't know God. Okay, I wanted nothing with him. I was living a very dark life. But something inside me decided to cry out. And I said, God, if you're there and if you're real, I need you to come into my life, and I need you to change it forever. And 3 days later, I was getting kicked out of the same drug house by the same people who invited me in for no reason. They said, get out of here. You don't belong here anymore.
Whoa.
I got into my car, and there was something in my vehicle that said, go home, you'll find safety there. And so I showed up to my mom's front door. She opens the door. She didn't even recognize me. And I said, Mom, it's me. But I had lost so much weight. I lost like 100 pounds. I had sores on my face. I was wearing a ball cap. I was sick, physically and spiritually. I come in the house. I said, Mom, I need to move back in. I'm homeless. She says, absolutely not. Look at the condition you're in. You need rehab. Is what you need. And I'm hallucinating. I've been up for like a week. I hadn't slept in like 7 days.
Oh my gosh.
It was bad. And my dad's in the background, and he says, well, he's our son. We can't abandon him. Look at him. We have to do something. And she says, fine. If he gets clean, he can stay here. And through my drug-induced mind, I made the decision to get clean. In 3 days, I went through withdrawals, and this was the turning point for my life. I woke up after 3 days, and I looked at my phone, and there were voice messages and text messages of everybody who wanted me to come back to my old life.
Of course.
And I shattered my phone in a second. And ever since that day, God started moving through my life, and now today I'm a nurse practitioner. So it just shows you the distance God can take you.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That is.
Yeah. I just. What do you say to that? I mean,
I
would have to ask.
Speechless.
No, me either. You're telling your testimony, and all I'm thinking is your mom was praying that whole time, and that's my thoughts. Now you tell me if that's true.
Everyone says the same thing.
She was
every time. They say every time, and she was. She was a Christian woman. She goes to a little Methodist church, but it didn't matter. She believed that God would transform her son one day. So the seeds that were planted in me one day developed, and here I am today. So she's super proud of me.
That's
it. She should.
Yeah.
That's one of the scriptures we say at our church every Sunday. Proverbs 2:6. Train up a child in the way he goes. When he is old, he will not depart. We might stray, but we ain't gonna depart because it's in there. It's in there.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
So the Lord told me, he says, I gave my life to Christ in 2012, so I've only been a Christian 8 years. I just surpassed my 8-year mark. And he said, I need you to write a book about what I've done in your life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? You got the wrong guy. I got a C in English. I don't have any English education. I don't even know where to write a book. For 3 months, He said, Aaron, write a book and I'll take it places it's never been. One day my wife, we came home from church. I just got married. She says, I'm extremely tired for some reason. I'm going to lay down. And she went to lay down, and I looked over at our house on the kitchen bar, and the laptop was open, and God said, now. And I wrote probably the first 3 or 4 chapters of my first book. Like it was nothing. What? Had no clue how to go about getting a book, right? So next thing you know, I'm getting a card from a woman that says, hey, you need to get a hold of me. I heard you writing a book. I want to help you out. And I'm like, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, this is obedience.
Yeah.
Obedience is hearing the voice of God and just obeying regardless of what it looks like on your side. I mean, this is where God started. So anyway, so the book is called Coincidence or God, and it has gone places I've never dreamed of before. We just recently, we send this book into prisons, rehabilitation centers, and the same juvenile detention that I was in is now every single inmate that comes in here, boy and girl, gets a free signed copy.
What?
We have seen all kinds of men and women come to Christ through this. They're saying things like, your story is just like my story.
Yeah.
Because my story is really just a story about a boy who's lost. And the redemption of God who comes into their lives and changes them from the inside out. So when they read my book, it's truth that hits their mind.
Yeah.
They'll say things like, my mind is different even. I think differently. I don't think like the father and mother that maybe disappointed me when I was growing up, or abused me or neglected me and things like, because most of them are in jail because of lack of love.
Yes.
So we show them the Father, who's the Father of lights, and he comes in and makes his place in them. So anyways, so that's what happened with the first book.
Wow.
So, and we released over 500 books now into the prison system, and it's just
that's pretty amazing.
Cycling.
So you have to have a certain amount of being vulnerable. I mean, obviously, your whole testimony, but how did you get to the point of wanting to share that story with people? Because everybody, I know what you used to do, and I know you got that. It's like you had to have gotten that. So how did you get past that kind of chatter?
Yeah. I had to understand that there was a purpose behind what I went through, and obviously it's real, because now I'm able to go back into the darkness and pull men out who are stuck in addiction or whatever the case may be. So it was almost like I was so proud of what my father did for me that I wanted to let the whole world know, regardless of what the outcome or what people might think of me. And I've built enough respect now to where people know who I am, right?
Yeah.
They know me as I once was a drug addict, now I'm a son. And things are different now. So, and the distance that God has taken me and continues to take me today. So the vulnerability actually gives me the opportunity to share the gospel.
Yes.
It actually opens up a door. The Lord told me a long time ago, he goes, you're a gatekeeper. So I stand at the gate where the Lord is, right? And God just brings them through my practice and all kinds of different things. And I'm able to share my life and share my testimony and bring people to know the Father, because each one of us has been born for a purpose. And the reason why we're here is because we were born for such a time as this. So each one of us are meant to live a life for God so that we can bring glory to him for the works that he does through us. And so this is where I am today, is that I'm just becoming a light. That's the whole point of why we're alive, is to be the light.
Be the light.
He says, in him was the life, Christ, and the life was the light of men. Let your light shine before man, that they may give glory to God for your good works.
Yeah.
It's all about shining. And that's the whole point of Christianity. Christianity is not a religious practice. Right. It's a way of life. It's being in love with him. So, anyways.
I mean, you should be passionate about that. You should be, it's like, and a lot of times people get caught up in a label, you say, oh, Christian this, Christian that. Well, are you a believer? You know what I mean?
Right,
and it's like, you have to separate the what is that, how they always say, the religion from the relationship.
Yes.
And it seems like that you focus more on that, the relationship of what he's done in your life.
Right.
So I have a question online for you.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Can you ask if there are any facilities in Southwest Missouri for addictions?
That's a good question. So there are a lot. It depends on if it's outpatient or inpatient. So there are multiple inpatient facilities where people can go for months at a time or even up to a year, like Teen Challenges in Neosho, Missouri. There is also if you look up like support groups
Yes.
in the Joplin area, you'll find AA meetings, NA, people that can support you during your addiction and things like that. There's all kinds of facilities. So if they just Google, support groups or drug rehabilitation centers, they should be able to find a widespread amount of places to go. But those are some good ones.
So what kind of advice do you have for families of people dealing with that person with an addiction that maybe hasn't hit rock bottom, but they're, of course, like in your mom's, doing their prayers, doing those things, and just hoping and praying that the light will come on or that moment will happen sooner than maybe the plan might be?
Right.
What is your advice for those people?
So, you don't want to enable people. You want to love them, but you don't want to enable them, because when you're enabling them, they take advantage of that, and they say, "Oh well, if I got money this time, what about next time?
Yeah.
I can continue kind of like a stray cat, right? You feed a stray cat, the stray cat's going to come back." And I don't mean this out of offense
totally
or like that, but we can love people and not enable them. So we work with the homeless a whole lot, right? So in the streets, it's messy. We have a SOS Ministry, Serving on the Streets, is a nonprofit that we founded here. Well, it feeds hundreds of people who are messy, right? Full of addiction, alcoholism, abuse, neglect, prostitution. And so one of the things, I had a volunteer one time came up to me. This was a huge outbreak for me, but she says, there's some people over there that's using drugs. What do you want to do about that? I said, well, we love them. And she looked at me like she'd never heard that language before. She goes, okay, let's do that.
Good answer. Good answer. Yeah. That is funny.
Right. So I can point somebody's flaws out and push them down and overcome them. But those things don't really work a whole lot of times.
Right.
And that's not enabling. But if I can point out who they are, if I can tell them they've been predestined for a time such as this, that this is why they are alive, right?
Yeah.
They begin to feel this encouragement they probably never had in their entire life, which led them to addiction, right? So addiction is it's self-seeking, it's self-consumption, it's all these things that we're really never designed to be, So I would say don't enable, love, but don't enable them. And love sometimes is hard, right? Jesus himself loved people, but man, he told them about the kingdom of God, and he was truthful. We're talking about truth earlier, right? So truth is a big thing that the Lord's talking to me about right now. So, it's powerful. Truth is so powerful. God is absolute truth. Everything else is half truths.
Yeah.
The devil is the father of lies, right? In him there is no truth. But anyways, I was kind of getting off on a tangent. But
y'all got that, right? You got that.
I get this preaching mode. I gotta stop that. But anyway, so love, don't enable.
Yeah, I think a lot of times you do get a lot of parents or people who mean well, and they do enable their kid, and it's in such a way that they don't see it as that. It's if they don't get it here, they're gonna get it somewhere, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, are you doing a disservice to, because what happens when you can't do that anymore? Then what behavior, what does that turn into then?
Right.
And wow.
Yeah.
I'm curious because you went from addiction to
Nurse practitioner, author.
all of that.
Hats.
Yeah.
I had to figure out which one I'm picking out in the closet.
Yes. But it's, and we know it wasn't that simple. It just wasn't boom, boom, boom.
Correct.
You was there. So in that journey, did you receive any from the drug scene? Were people after you? Did you have to have protection? That kind of thing, and getting out of that.
Right. I did have people that were after me at the time immediately, but as time went on, people moved, people went back in jail.
So the Lord dropped them off.
Yeah, it kind of was one of those things. I was in a, because once I came out of addiction, I had to figure out who Aaron was again. Because I was so used to being high, so I didn't know who I was. So I was anxious, depressed. I was trying to find out what I was, and my mom says, "What do you think about the medical field?" I'm sitting on a couch, it's clean, but my life is boring and it's going nowhere. And I remember asking myself, "Is this really what life is about?" And my mom just out of nowhere comes into the living room while I'm watching TV, and she says, "What do you think about the medical field?" I said, "What about it?" And so I went to phlebotomy school, came out of phlebotomy school, and started working at BioLife Plasma Services. And I met some nurses there, and I said, what do you guys do? And they said, well, we save lives and we help people. And it was like that moment. I was like, that's what I want to do. And then I went to nursing school, got my registered nurse. That was in 2008. I graduated, passed my boards. And then the Lord said to me, he says, I want you to go back to school. And so I went back to school, got my master's in nursing, passed my national board certified test. And then here I am now, a board certified nurse practitioner. And I'm just helping people, both physically and spiritually. And that's what it's about. I mean, Jesus talked about serve others. Yeah. He didn't come to be served, but to serve others, you know. And this is our good, acceptable, pleasing worship to God, is to live our lives as sacrifices for Him. So that's what I do.
I love it that your two worlds are both helping people, because a lot of the times people, you know, like you have your Christian space, but they don't usually coincide with what you do in the other, you know, your day-to-day job. So I'm sure that's very fulfilling for you. Tell us, I know you say you speak at your minister. Okay. Do you speak at other churches? Tell us about that, because all I keep seeing is like, man, how many people I would love to have him speak with in our community. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, people know of you, but do they know all of this of you?
Right.
So.
Maybe not the whole picture. So pieces. When the Lord opens doors, obviously I go speak in churches. But one of the things that's crazy is He gets me outside the walls of the church to go preach.
That's where it needs to be.
I just left a rodeo last week and preached at a rodeo.
That's
cool.
Bull riders. I'm like, I'm freaking out here. I'm standing in 2 foot deep of dirt. I don't even have a Wrangler shirt. I had to go buy one from Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and so, but that's what the Lord does for me. He gets me outside the four walls to preach His message to people who may never step foot in the church.
I love that.
But yeah, no, churches. I want to start going to churches, because there's a message that I believe that the Lord is wanting to speak through my new book. And it's about taking believers from knowing God, because many people know God, but they don't know how to find their calling in life. Like, how do I go through the motions? How do I go about finding my purpose? How do I know how to listen to Him and obey His voice? And so that's how Burn Notice is, and that's how, you know, I got signed, which was amazing. That was a Lord thing, you know. So I'm wanting to get into churches to, share the message about purpose, and because I want to see the body of believers move. Kind of like what you guys are doing, right? You're wanting to do something for a purpose, right? So the same thing for everybody else is that everybody is needed in the kingdom of God. Paul talks about the gifts of the Spirit, right? That we're all a body. Some are the hands, some are the feet, some are the, the neck, but Christ is the head. So we need to understand that everyone has a gift, and we need to use those gifts accordingly. Because Paul says if we don't use the gifts, then the body becomes immature. Yes. So we need to be mature and use everyone accordingly. So, yes.
I like that. I mean, it's simple, and it's just simple, you know. But a lot of times we make things like that hard because we have to. Well, it has to be perfect, and well, nobody's ever showed me how to do, or whatever. Well, nobody really showed you how. I mean, it was your experiences in life that's given you your books.
Yes.
So. Yes. Everybody who goes through something, it doesn't matter what we've all been through or going through, you have a story. The Lord brings you through that for a reason, and that's to share with other people.
Exactly. Burn Notice is literally 3 years of journaling of what God did in my life.
Wow.
And I mean, I'm talking about astronomical moves, right? And so then I funneled in, take people through a little rabbit hole, right? And they're like, I'm into the story with SOS Ministries. I'm back out into the Broadway Bash.
Yes.
Okay, so the Broadway Bash was hearing the voice of God. He said, go have a block party. I'm like, where do we have a block party at, God? I don't even know where to have that at. So the doors opened up. We had the Broadway Bash.
Yes.
They said, they said, hey, you guys know there's Washington Education Center opened up over there. You guys should put a bid on that. I'm like, why do we need a facility? And then we talked. Yep. We got that school, Washington Family Hope Center, for $1. And then the Lord, that was pretty much we were just meant to open that door. And He said partnership. So I partnered with Water Gardens because we had a good relationship. And we gave the building to them. And just things like that, stories like that. Because now the place is open for women and children to stay together during homelessness. Yes. That's beautiful. Yeah. That's the Lord's heart. So those are just some stories that are in the book that really open your eyes to understand how God moves and what it looks like to obey His voice. And, it's risky. Yes. I mean, it's really risky to follow Him. Scary. Yes. It's like He's the safety net, but you got to take that step out into the water, you know what I mean? So And everything that I've ever been successful for is always came through risk, taking that leap of faith, right? Faith,
Yeah.
So, live by faith, not by sight. That's the scripture I was living by. So it's good.
That's funny because you think too. You hear a lot of the sayings that if you, when you get to the end of your rope, you tie a knot and hang on. Well, sometimes he don't want us to hang on. Sometimes he wants us to go ahead and let that, so he can lift us. You know what I mean? We think we're going to fall, but he's like, no, I got your wings ready. You're going to fly, and you're flying.
Flying. Yep.
Man.
And I always, and this is for the listeners, always know there's more.
Y'all see him?
You guys listening?
Yeah. Directly in that camera and tell them that.
Always know there's more. It says that we go from glory to glory, from faith to faith. So whenever God gives you something, he who is faithful with little will be granted much. So you have to do the little things, like even going praying for somebody out in public. It's weird, but just do it. If the Lord tells you to do it. And then that little faith grows into a bigger seed, and then you do something else for the Lord, and then it grows into a bigger seed and a bigger, and the next thing you know, you're like, how did I even get here? And he's like, it's the small steps of faith to get here, So that's what it's about. That's our walk.
So for all of our viewers that are listening, and I'm just, like I say, in awe of his story, so just almost speechless at this point, but if you have a group of people, young men, young women, old people, old men, old women, whatever, people just need to hear a untraditional word, right? Because
that's good.
I can't touch the people that you can touch because your story is not like mine. And you have such a unique story. Like, I mean, in the middle of the school, oh my Lord, I would have just passed out and died. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh God, it's over. Like, I couldn't imagine. Right. But you had that moment, like you said, that shame and everything. Like, the stories and the people that he can touch with his story. So if there is someone in your life, there's a group of people of whatever that you want to hear this young man come and speak to your group about, please leave a message here. Reach out to him on Facebook.
Yep.
How else can you get in
I have a website, so it's authoramgarcia.com. You can go on there. Actually, when you go to my website, a little pop-up's going to show up. If you subscribe to my email, you'll get my first book absolutely free to download to your Kindle and stuff like that. So so if they want to read about hope, that's the first place they can go is read my story there. And then, if you want to get a hold of me to have me come speak at your churches, it's authoramgarcia.com. Go on there, send me a message, and I'll come speak at your church.
That is so cool. I'm just amazed.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can't put nothing on the end of something because it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
My pastor in Springfield, it's already done been did.
Already.
I'm like, what more is to be said? He said it all.
You roll with it.
I just want to amen. That's all.
And
that's
church
what I
said,
got. That's what I got. Thank you, Aaron, so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Good gracious. I mean, where do you go from there?
I mean, you don't.
It goes to show you that everybody has a story. Everybody.
And that young person that is getting the label at school as the problem child.
Yes.
Or the
you are not a lost cause.
I mean, you have no idea where that path may lead. You have no idea.
Well,
I bet those teachers or those principals, I would love to know what they think of his story, right?
They're like, I was the teacher who found that.
Sly? Sly? He arrested me.
Victor! Victor is our casting director.
He knows me. Yep, he knows where I'm at now.
We should have had you on. You should have came on here.
Yeah, we should have been here tonight. But yes, I mean,
small world.
Think about that. Can you just imagine? Like, you just never really know.
And we go through things so we can have that story to tell people on how we got out and how the Lord brought us out.
But the problem is a lot of us never tell it.
We never tell it. We're too embarrassed. We're too ashamed. We're too whatever. Yeah. And it's like,
the people think of me. That's too bad. Because you may be sitting on your... you're sitting and missing your blessing.
You're missing your blessing. That's exactly right. No, I'm getting started on that book. That's all I know.
You want to hear something really cool to close with here?
Yes.
The Devil's Den was taken out by the tornado. Okay? Houses are built all around the property where it was at. The Devil's Den is no longer there. But I'm still here.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was thinking you'd have still been there.
Yeah.
You'd been gone too.
Gonzo.
Had a reason for you. So, that everybody has a purpose.
Definitely so.
And We don't know what your purpose is. You know what your purpose is, and God knows what your purpose is.
Yeah, that's all I got. So next week.
I know it.
I just either
we don't even want to mar the. Yeah,
just nothing else to be said
let
about
it
that.
Let it ride. Let it ride.
Next week we will have a young adults panel.
Yes, we are excited for that. The youth are going to come and give us a viewpoint
on everything.
On everything. From
everything that
COVID,
we talk about.
The presidential, everything.
We want to know what the young people. We know what we think, and we know what some of the other adults in our worlds think. But what do the young people think about it? Like, did you watch the debate?
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
And too many times their voice doesn't get heard.
No, because nobody cares. Right?
We are going to elevate our young people's voice.
Know.
So you get all your young people tuned in next week.
Yeah, because some of them it's their first time to vote. This is huge, and what we're showing them so far is not much. I'm just saying.
We're going to do better. Got to do better. Got to do better.
The people on here talking about they getting the book. What a miracle. I mean.
Yes, it's available to get now. It's available to get now on Amazon.
Bookstores next week.
Bookstores next week. But don't wait because you'll forget. And then, I meant to.
Yeah.
Get it now. You can pre-order it.
Or get the ebook. Because a lot of y'all don't flip pages anymore. It's okay.
True that.
He's got it set up on ebook. Are you reading the ebook? Do we on Audible too? Because I need that.
Audible's not. My publisher hasn't released Audible yet.
Okay.
It's
a lot
coming.
of people ask me about that, but ebook is out right now, so they can get that.
I'll take that.
Put the pressure on in the comments
I'm
for
a
Audible.
slacker.
And,
Yes,
and they'll get it. Audible will be here soon. But yeah, so please get that book and support this young man and his story because it's a heck of a story and we all have a story to tell.
Absolutely.
All right.
Next week we'll be back and come listen and let's talk to the young people. See what they got.
To the young, they have a voice too. Thank you for joining us.
Have a good one.